Hello friends, and welcome back to my shop and a long overdue update video, so let's get into it. We have a whole host of things to cover, so I will put them all on one side of the screen here. You can click along to whatever is most interesting to you. But first, we will start with the Sile milling machine because that has given me so much issues when I initially bought it, and now it is running like a clock. All the pen parts have been moved over to it, all the 4th axis milling, all the iso grip milling. I've been doing a ton more of those just because now the machine can actually do it. And it's just been functioning flawlessly. I'm very happy with how it is now after all the kind of hassle we went through initially. When I last left off with these videos, before the laser scanning video, I was talking about screws, machining the Torx pocket on my small 256 size screws. That is now functioning perfectly. I didn't have to change the tooling. All I had to do was change the feed rate, or change the feed rates on the machining processes, slow them way down. And that made a very reliable results. Now I've made hundreds and hundreds of screws on it, and it works until the tool eventually breaks, and it just breaks from wearing. So I'm happy with that. I can now economically make my own 256 size screws, which are just so pretty. I am so happy with them. It's just another thing that I could bring in-house, and I'm enjoying that. It's a fun process to try to make tiny things well, and that's what I geek out most on. People also always ask me about the Sile and if I would go with them again, considering the issues and, QC things I ran into. And I would. I think it's a great machine, and all my interactions with Sile, even though there is, a distance barrier and a language barrier, have been fantastic. It's always been quick fixes to issues I have. I'm impressed with the way they treat their customers and the way they've treated me, even though I had a really rocky start with them. So yeah, I would still go with them. I'm not paid to say that. Like, I bought that machine with my own money. I have no affiliation with Sile, but I would still go with it. I think it's a good machine for the price, especially for someone in a garage who needs a compact machine. And if you're doing tiny, precise work like me, the high-speed spindle, I've been happy with it. I would do it again in a heartbeat. The lathes, the 2 lathes, well, technically 3, but the main ones I use are the hard hinge and then the big manual lathe. The big manual lathe just gets used to turn pen bodies, and that's been working fantastically. Yes, it's a manual process, but I can kind of double team it as the big hard hinge is turning its own parts and working on pens. I can be prepping all the blanks that go into it. So yes, it does take me time, but right now it's the best method I have other than buying another lathe here. So I've been really happy with that. It's not a bottleneck in my processes right now, and it is producing really good results. So I'm actually pretty impressed for the, I think $5,000 is what I spent for this lathe. Put it on big concrete blocks, put some leather weight covers on it, did some things just to protect it a little bit better, and it's been working fantastically. It's also really nice just to have a big manual lathe to do. I make a lot of round parts, so it's just nice to kind of have it as a R&D kind of machine. Sometimes CNC is great, but sometimes it's just nice to be able to knock something up quickly on a manual machine. The hard hinge does what the hard hinge does. It works like a clock. I am so happy with that machine. I've done basically nothing to it except maintain its fluids and just care for it. It cranks out parts after parts. It has no issues. It's made hundreds and hundreds of screws that go into the Sile. I couldn't be happier with that machine. The retrofit I put on it is working great. It's using Linux CNC. It's running through a Raspberry Pi on an LC80 board. I have videos about it in the past, but yeah, it has been working flawlessly. I could not be happier with that machine. If another one came across my path, I would probably buy it just because it's been so reliable. For what I purchased it for, I bought that machine for $3,000, put a bunch of work and time into it. But it's been a bulletproof machine. Super happy with it. The Kurt CNC mill has basically done nothing in the last 8 months. It sits here mainly as like a research machine, or like if I want to try something or put a material in there that I wouldn't want to put into the Sile. But for the most part, it just sits idle. It's not worth it for me to sell it. I've put so much money and time into it. I would never be able to recoup any of that on a sale to somebody. And I'm kind of like, I feel indebted to it because it built this. It funded pretty much everything. And like I said, the value of having a secondary spindle that I can just play with while the big machines run production is more valuable to me than whatever kind of income I would generate from selling it. So if it eventually got in the way, perhaps I would part ways with it, but it's more valuable to me as a machine right now. So here it'll stay. Now we're getting into the interesting stuff. Black anodizing titanium, that has worked out so well. I was anodizing a bunch of little black screws that go in the black iso grip pens. And I found if I made a little spring out of titanium, a really easy way to hold small parts for the anodizing process. I don't make any other flavors of pen with that black anodizing on it right now because it works best if it's protected in a pocket. While that anodizing layer is pretty good, it's not as good as a color anodize, and I've spent the last forever trying to get a really reliable process for helping that bond strength. And I've come across something that's really, really good, but it's just still not quite at the same level as color anodizing. So that's why I reserve it for pens that are more protected, things that'll hold their color longer, or in this case, hold that black pigment longer. So yeah, super happy with those. Actually, if you're watching this, the next lottery that's coming out is just for black anodized iso grips. So if you're into that, stay tuned to your emails. Fiber lasers. Fiber lasers are so much fun. I've never had the chance to play with one, and a company reached out and basically provided me a unit for review and basically just let me mess with it and see what I could do. It is a lower power unit. It's a 20-watt unit, which for production is not really ideal. I would need a much more punchy unit, but for just like testing and R&D work, more than adequate. And I've been pretty impressed with what's possible on these more budget machines. I did a bronze coin on it. I'm going to do some titanium work on it. And yeah, it's crazy the kind of resolution you can crank out from, like I said, these inexpensive hobby grade machines. It's incredible where the technology has come, in the last 5 years even. I looked into this a while back, and just what has become more accessible and like easier to use, it just continues to blow my mind. So yeah, I've been playing with that, having a ton of fun with that, and yeah, there'll be more out on that for sure. All right, now we're getting into the proper dork content. CAD PC, I built a new PC, thankfully before the RAM-pocalypse. Now the RAM in it, I think, is worth more than the PC itself, but besides the point, mainly just to make my CAD workflows much faster. I also do a lot of video editing, or want to do a lot more video editing, so just making it more punchy and snappy just makes me want to do it more. And I also put a decent graphics card in there, A, because I like playing games, but B, I also wanted to run my own large language models locally. And to do that, you just need a lot of VRAM. So I have 16 gigabytes, which isn't a ton, but it lets you run a decent amount of models. If you're interested in that, I'll put some links below, but Olama is what I'm using, and anything LLM. So if you Google either of those, it'll kind of give you some guides and ways to start. It's a lot of fun. And because photo and video has kind of been a huge passion of mine forever, I put a bunch more effort behind it just to make it easier for me to do things like this and share with you. Also for the fact that I talk with my buddy Jamie every week. We do the Lone Machinist podcast. If you're into it, it's linked below. We just talk about nerdy electronic stuff and a bunch of machining jazz. So yeah, if that's your world, check it out. But what I did purchase is a giant softbox to help light me regardless of the outside situations. I have a decent microphone with decent audio processing. I have a camera with a lens. The camera actually does need to be improved. This is my old Sony A5000, which is a fantastic webcam, but a little bit lacking, when it comes to bit rate for video. I have a decent lens on here. This is a 12mm Rokinon lens. And I also have a black mist filter on here right now, just to kind of soften things up, especially with talking head stuff. One thing I did recently purchase, which is just sitting behind me right now, is this. This is a little RS3 mini gimbal, and a ton of shots from this video were done with this, mainly because I have sliders, I have all kinds of fun video stuff, but this just gives me something where my camera is always sitting on it, so when I'm doing production or running machines during the day, I can grab it and then get a nice stable shot that's pleasing to watch and doesn't take me a ton of post-processing to make it watchable. No one wants to watch shaky video. That doesn't work out well. Anyways, that's been my world. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to try to do more of these because I've made it very simple for me to edit these videos, or to produce these videos and then edit them for you. I am so pleased that you get any kind of enjoyment out of this. Like I said, even if nobody watched it, I enjoy the process of doing this. And I thank you all for the wonderful support that has led to this so far. Hopefully, I will talk to you again very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.